At 8 years old, Jessica Leonard of Tennessee was the heaviest child in the world, tipping the scale at 420 pounds. Jessica ate so much her legs could no longer support her body. Rolling on the floor was the only way she could get around. Jessica's weight finally took its toll. She was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, struggling to breathe. Child Protective Services stepped in, and Jessica was taken to an obesity clinic where she shed 320 pounds on a strict diet and exercise routine. No surgery was involved in her weight loss program, but was required to get rid of loose skin. Jessica is no longer the heaviest child in the world, and she vows to keep it that way by eating healthy food and going to physical therapy 5 times a week. It is hard to believe Jessica weighed 420 pounds at age 8. But what's remarkable and what's inspiring is the fact that she lost the weight. And when you saw her, I'm sure your reaction was much like mine. I mean, it was like jaw-dropping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think, Patty, as a mom?
Well, just looking at that, you wonder, I think the first thing you could think of is how could parents ever let their child get like that? But I look at pictures at Alan, like I'd said before, and you see someone every day, and you can't picture them in that way. I picture him, I can still look at him and look at him as a baby picture, so you don't really see all the exterior of what's happening. And it's just when you look at a poor child like that who's struggling every day just to survive and walk, and it hurts your heart. I mean, it just really does, as a mom.
Not to mention the social implications. If she was a little bit older and going through school and having to deal with what she's hearing as far as what kids are saying about her, not having any friends, and I can relate to that. I think that what Patty's saying about looking at Ellen, and many people have said that about me, my grandma, she's in her 80s now, she says, I don't ever remember you being that big. Sweetheart, because what parents and loved ones tend to do is they tend to see what a person can be and what they truly are. And when Alan first came to me, I saw this young man that's just such a good-hearted young boy and was hurting. And because of that pain, he had turned to food to cope. And the pain can come from a multitude of areas. It can come from having relationship difficulties because of the environment you're in. It can come from being in school and being made fun of. It can come from losing a job. Uncertainty leads a person to look for certainty in the wrong ways. And what Alan was speaking to before the break was that he knew for certain he could get certainty by eating the unhealthy food. Certainty meaning he would feel different in the moment. The key is asking yourself, why am I eating these unhealthy foods so consistently that I have this problem? Finding out what the intention is of the behavior, and then finding an empowering behavior to replace the negative one. So what Alan did was he simply asked himself, why am I eating this way? Is it to distract myself? Is it because I'm bored? Is it because I don't have energy? Is it because something's bothering me outside of this? And then once he came to the realization that eating couldn't change those things, it could only make it worse for him, he made the connection in his mind to take control of his health from his habits.
What was the defining moment for you? Did any particular thing happen that made you say, you know what, I'm going to lose this weight?
If there was one moment I could pick, it was probably my first night down at college, and I went out and everyone else was, having a good time, and I was just kind of like sitting there by myself. So the next day I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for
Thank
doing
you.
something. So what's it like for you now when you go out to eat, and even when you prepare your own meals? Are you conscious of what you're eating and how much you're eating?
Absolutely. I eat 6 meals every day, 3 hours apart. Whenever I
That seems weird to me.
What do you mean weird?
Six meals a day?
Yeah, 6 meals a day.
I don't eat 6 meals a day.
Well, what kind of meals do you eat?
I eat 3 meals a day.
And what are they?
Well, I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, I mean, what are the foods?
Well, like for breakfast, like this morning, I had toast, dry toast.
Okay, white or wheat?
Wheat.
Good.
And I had an orange juice. And that was it. When I got to work, I probably had a couple, maybe 7 or 8 almonds. Now, for lunch, I didn't get lunch, but I would have had a turkey sandwich, and I'll probably get
Very good. Very good.
But, I'm just like, that just seems like an awful lot of
You're
eating.
probably, I think the way you're thinking about meals is it's some large sit-down meal.
Right.
Alan, I mean, talk about what you eat on a daily basis, just so someone at home that is having the problem that you had can relate and can put these things in place.
Sure. I mean, I pretty much stick to what you gave me, and like you were talking about, that consistency is why I've done so well. I like having that structure, and but in the morning I'll eat oatmeal, a couple eggs, My second meal, I'll eat a handful of almonds, cashews.
So it's a snack, you see.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's not really 6 big meals.
Gotcha.
3
okay.
big meals,
That's
couple
what I
snacks,
meant.
right?
Okay, gotcha.
Three
okay.
big meals and then 3 smaller snacks.
Okay.
And then lunch, I love tuna, so I eat tuna every day, and that's pretty healthy for
Yeah,
you.
in fact,
Every day? Don't you
Yes.
get tired of
No,
tuna?
I love tuna.
Teasing.
When he goes away to school, he brings home, he brings back to school cases of tuna.
Right,
You know,
right.
and it's hard. I finally have realized, I think as a parent or as a mom that wanted to cook for him, I love the variety.
Right.
I love all that. And I think, I think back at that, and I think I should have been more structured. You can always say should have, and I can only learn and move forward from that. But, and people will tease him. It'll be like, he told me his roommates, when he had some roommates, I guess it was last year, and they said, do you ever eat anything
Other than
else?
tuna?
And they're sitting there on the couch eating all their,
Probably
but it's
chips.
just
Junk
Right,
and
right,
alcohol
right.
and all the typical college foods.
Right.
And once you really nourish your body and you start feeling so much better through healthy eating and exercise, you get a healthy addiction. You actually start to enjoy it so much that to put non-nutritive foods in your body wouldn't even make sense to you because you feel so lousy after doing it. If you eat something that's not healthy, something that's not part of what you've designed into your life, you actually see the ramifications and feel the ramifications of those unhealthy, non-nourishing foods.
So how often do you work out? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I work out about an hour a day.
And what do you do in your workout routine?
I lift weights for about an hour, and then I guess it's about an hour and a half. So I lift weights for about an hour and then do cardio for about an hour.
Oh, good.
So
Good for you.
yeah, thanks. And like I was saying before, I used to get that high off of eating junk food, and now after I work out and I down that protein shake, I feel like I'm on top of the world. It's the greatest feeling. And then it's usually later in the day, so I've been eating healthy all day, and I just feel so good.
It's really taking control of your emotions. Like I said earlier, disconnecting this negative cycle, because so many people are trying to fill this void of lack in their life, whether it be a void because they don't have the relationship they want in their life, or a void because they don't have the job they have in their life. And they're filling that emptiness, or they don't have a higher power, God, in their life. That they fill that void with something that's only taking them further and further away from themselves and further away from who they can be. I mean, I see in your eyes when your son talks about the pain he went through, that really seems to bother you.
Yeah, it does. And I don't want to cry here, but it's just, I didn't realize he was going through all that. And I've always felt like I had a good relationship with Alan, but I guess it's just something you don't, one of those things you don't necessarily talk
Well, what
about.
bothers you so much?
Well, to think that he was going through all that and I didn't realize it. As a mom, you try to fix everything.
Do you think you could have?
I think I maybe could have provided more structure in the, in the home as far as the eating goes. But, I myself am a pretty healthy eater, and I feel like I did provide good, healthy meals for the children. But then the thing is we had chips and we had cookies and we had all those other things, and I think that's where he really, had issues with. When I was away in bed and nobody else was around was when he was hitting all that. And, I guess I didn't focus on that because in my eyes, like I said, I didn't realize that Alan was getting as big as he was. I just still saw Alan as my Alan,
Right.
and it's like you said, it's how you think of someone. And I thought of Alan in a certain way in my mind, and never, when I look at pictures of him, it almost horrifies me as a mom to think that he was right in front of my eyes like that, and I didn't try to help him in that way.
But what could you have done? I mean, with what you were doing with the heart
Without
issue.
knowing.
Well, I think I did have other distractions in it. I'm not using that as an excuse by any means because I always try to put my children first. But, I guess depending on what you have going on in your life as well, you're dealing with other things, and other things happen to the people around you. So,
all right,
but I'm just so proud of him.
And you should be. We all are, Alan. When we come back, we want to talk about the problems, the health problems being overweight can cause. Stay with us, back in a moment.